Hi, you're in the garden with Patrick. A lot of times people think that just because it's fall and it's October here in El Paso, that things are winding down and we're pretty much over with the gardening. But let me tell you, our garden here is still thriving. I have a lot of vegetables that I'm still picking that are still on the vine. I'm going to give you a little quick tour of what is happening right now, but don't think that fall gardening is something that you should not try. I think in any zone that you're in, that you want to try to do a little bit of fall gardening. You can still harvest tomatoes, you can still harvest a lot of your vegetables until that first freeze. So I'm planting in my fall garden lettuces, some spinach. I've actually done some cilantro, some different things, some brassicas you can also plant. It's a little too late now, but broccoli and cauliflower, those types of things too. So let's take a quick tour of the garden, show you what we're doing and how our garden looks in the beginning of October here in Zone 8A. And want to encourage you to make sure that you look at your garden. I've done some amendment on my garden soil. If you're not going to plant anything this fall, at least do some amending of your soil that allows that to sink in and kind of decay over the next 3 or 4 months until your spring gardening. So with that being said, let's take a look and see how we got some of these beautiful vegetables, and we'll give you a little tour. End of the year gardening? Are you kidding me? Really? Heck no, we still have a lot of time for growth here, and we still have flowers, and we still have some fruit in our zucchinis that are still growing, and a lot of things are still happening here in the garden. And certainly October is not the time to look at your garden and say, well, we're pretty much over. We still have about another 30 days of growth, and as you can see, the garden is still vibrant. I still have flowers coming out with a lot of different vegetables that I'm still harvesting. A lot of these peppers, these are serrano peppers, poblano peppers, still have a lot of those going on. And the sashito peppers that have been very prolific, definitely going to grow those again next year. And jalapenos, we got some red ones and green ones. My basil is still growing very well. As you can see, I have 3 different kinds of basil and a purple basil over here. Tomato plants, oh heck yeah, we're still going strong. Still got tomatoes on the vine. A little bit of blight, but it's still doing well, as you can see here. And I'll step back so you can see kind of how my trellising went. Pretty good. The tomato plants kind of went up quite a bit, and they're actually shading some of the plants, some of them a little bit too much. My green beans that I planted in July, they actually are doing pretty well, and I still have a little bit, you can see some flowering. So you can plant and harvest a lot of these all year round. Got some bell peppers still going on, a lot of jalapenos that we're ready to harvest, and yet we still have a lot of flowers. Now these flowers are going to eventually turn into a fruit, and hopefully it's going to fruit before our frost. The first frost is around November the 14th here in Zone 8B. Again, I have some purple beans that we planted in July. The fall garden is coming along. I have my snow peas that are growing pretty well. Again, just another view of the tons of sashito, poblano peppers. I still have 2 of my sugar baby watermelons that are growing. And yes, I still have my zucchini. So this is the zucchini that I planted in July. And again, I've harvested a few, but as you can see, there's a nice one there that we're going to harvest right now. And I've got another one that's coming along right in there. So the fall garden, I have some carrots that are popping up. So far, one spinach out of this whole little area here. I've got some bok choy that's coming up and some lettuce. So this is the lettuce. I planted another succession of vegetables, as you can see here. Some of them didn't come up, or so what happens is sometimes the seeds just don't germinate, and so you're going to go ahead and keep planting so that you do have that. But again, you can see here this bok choy, planted this about a month, maybe 3 weeks ago, and then I planted some more, so that way you're not harvesting everything all at once. And as you can see, this zucchini plant that's growing vertically has done very well for me this year. And you can actually see here at the end, we'll pull it up when it freezes. So stay tuned for that. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you'll see what I do with this plant. But you can see how you are going to grow this vertically, and this plant has done very, very well. And as you can see, I'm doing the same thing with this zucchini plant, which is doing extremely well also. So that's the garden as far as the fall. What we're doing here is just kind of cleaning up stuff, and I have still probably another month of growth going on. And as we continue to harvest these beautiful tomatoes and other vegetables, we continue to plant some of these other vegetables. I have some cilantro. This is my spinach, and I'm doing this in a container. And we have again some spinach over here also. So you can plant in containers, you can plant in the ground, all kinds of different stuff. If you have any questions, put a comment in the comment below what you're growing. As you can see, also, just one last thing in regards to the spring garden. So this is my asparagus. You can see the little asparagus that's growing. But what happens is in order for your asparagus to grow more, you want to let them fern for the first couple of years. You'll have them grow up, and then just let them grow into these ferns here. And what that does is that helps the root structure and grow more of your asparagus for the spring. And then as you can see, I've never done this, but I'm going to try this year. As you can see here, these little pods, those are the asparagus seeds. So once your asparagus grows to a certain height, the ferns come out, and then it will give you some seeds, and then you will have that for next year. So lastly, if you check out the video about the loofahs, I have a bunch of loofahs that we're going to be harvesting here. These are a really cool fruit, or it's really a gourd. I've done, this is the first time I've done this plant, and certainly would recommend doing this. It's a really fun plant, it's a cool plant, and then you can actually do some harvesting of these gourds and have a nice little washing sponge. So that's the gourds. And then lastly, again, you have your if you check out the video link, I have a link on aloe vera. The aloe vera plants outside are kind of crazy right now, but again, you can see that they do tend to flower beautifully, and this attracts pollinators and also hummingbirds. Hummingbirds just love these. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact In the Garden with Patrick. Subscribe to the channel, like this, and share this if you will with your friends. Until next time, happy gardening.